If you already have a SQL Server database and don't want to rewrite everything in C#, this video is for you. Today we will learn Entity Framework Core database first approach in an ASP.NET Core Web API step by step. So Entity Framework Core is an ORM that allows us to work with database using C# classes instead of raw SQL. It is widely used in .NET Core and ASP.NET Core Web API applications. In code first approach, we design models in C# and generate the database. But in database first approach, we already have a database design and generate C# entities from it. Today's focus is database first approach, which is common in enterprise and legacy systems. So let's get started. First of all, I want to add the dependencies. So my name is NuGet packages. I want to install Entity Framework Core and Entity Framework Core.SQL Server. This is the provider for this application because I'm using SQL Server, and also tools, so that we can use a Scaffold DbContext to generate DbContext and entity type classes for a specified database. Alright, and also I want to add a Scalar. Okay, so we have all these dependencies installed here. Now let's configure the Scalar API reference. That's it, so that we can see the API call and response. Before we move forward, if you are learning Entity Framework Core, ASP.NET Core, Angular, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second for you, but it really helps me create more videos like this. Alright, then let's take a look the connection string. This is my database connection string. Okay, this is my existing database. Okay, so here I have movies, movie details, actor, movie and actor tables, right? Now this is the documentation for a Scaffold DbContext, generates code for a DbContext and entity types for a database. Alright, so we can use these PowerShell commands. So a Scaffold -DbContext, then we can provide the name of the connection string, right, which is gonna be default connection in our case, right? So this is pretty similar to our code first approach, right? So I'm gonna use this command. So let's go to the package manager console. If you do not have it here, you can get it from views, other windows, then package manager console. So here I can type a Scaffold DbContext, hit tab, so it will auto populate. Then we need to provide name, which is gonna be connection strings, then default connection, right, which is this one, connection strings, and name is default connection. Then we need to enter Microsoft.Entity Framework Core.SQL Server, right? So this is the command. Hit enter, Alright, now I can see that we have now movie DbContext here, right? Includes actors, movies, movie details, and the connection string configuration here. Okay, and these are the classes here. Okay, but it is generated in the root folder, right? Which I don't like it. I want to move these classes under models folder and movie DbContext under data folder, right? So for that, what we can do, we can specify the output directory dash output dir is gonna be models, and this is coming from here. So we have all these parameter here. So output directory is gonna be this one, right? And we also need context directory. We wanna put DbContext under data folder, right? So these are all parameters you can pass. Context directory is gonna be data folder. Alright, successfully completed. And now if we see, we have now model folder, right? Also data folder. So this is the DbContext for us. Now we can remove all this. Also this actor, which we don't need. Now let's build the solution. Now let's add a controller so that we can see the data through controller, right? Through API. So this is gonna be API controller, and I'm gonna give the name as movies. So we need a get method, right? I want to return get all movies. Okay, so we need a constructor here, and I need movie DbContext, right? Also need to add the namespace for it. Okay, then a private variable which is gonna be only context. So context is gonna be movie context. So we can say movies is gonna be the list of movies, then return the movies. All right, and we also need to configure it in the program.cs file before building. So that is gonna be builder.services.add DbContext and provide the DbContext name, which is gonna be movie DbContext. Okay, now let's run the solution. So this is gonna be Scalar. Okay, test request send. Yep, we got the list of movies. Okay, so now we can also include the movie details. This is gonna be c.movie detail, right? And similarly also want to include the actor. Reload the application. Okay, now there is a problem. A possible object cycle detected. Okay, so let's go to the movie. So movie has list of actors. Now if we go to the actor has a list of movies, right? So this is a circular reference here. So what we can do, for movie we need actors, but for actors we don't need to show the movies, right? So we can ignore them. So that is gonna be JSON ignore. Reload the application. Well, still there is an issue. Let's take a look one more time. So this was for actor and movie. We also have movie details. So movie details has a movie. If we go to the movie has a movie detail, right? So that is also a circular reference here. We need movie detail from the movie, but we don't need movie from the movie details. So we can ignore that. Alright, let's reload again. Yep, we can see the response that includes movie detail, actors, right? Okay, now you know how to generate classes from the existing database, right? Now you need to make more changes, right? Let's say you need to add a new table, or you want to update the existing table. Like for example, if you want to add a property here that is gonna be decimal rating, right? Then how do we fix it? Because this changes is in the model, not in the database, right? If you make it in the database, you need to regenerate that again and again every time, right? So if you make it in the class, we can use code first approach now, meaning we can now mix together. First we applied database first approach, then going forward we can use code first approach. For that we need to apply add migration, right? Let's say initial. Okay, now if we apply the update database, there is a problem. The problem is we already have the actor in the database and all other tables in the database, right? So we cannot use this way. For that, what we can do, first of all, we can remove the migration. So it will remove the last migration, right? Okay, so we don't have this anymore. First of all, remove these changes also. Okay, then let's create the migration again. So this is gonna be initial scaffold database. Okay, so these are the changes we see here. These are for our existing database, right? Which we don't want. So what we can do, we can remove this entire section here and keep it empty. Also all these tables from this up and down, then save it, so we don't have any changes here, right? So at this moment we can now apply update database. So there is no changes, right? But it will create entity framework migration history table in our database. You see there is no table for that. If we refresh that, you will see that EF migrations history table is there, right? And if we see the data, there is one last change, which is initial scaffold database. Okay, now we can add back that field, right? Then we can use the add migration, then update database. You see the movie details doesn't have that column here, right? Okay, now that is done, so we can refresh the columns. We should see that, yeah, rating is here. Okay, this is not null. As a result, it added 0 by default. Okay, we can keep it as it is 0, or we can also apply nullable. Like we can, if we apply here just question mark here, this is gonna be nullable field. Similarly, you can add more models, right, or more references here as you need down the line. Now it's gonna be pretty easy, right? Now we can follow the entity framework code fast approach going forward. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second for you, but it really helps me create more videos like this. Thank you.